Imagine standing in the center of a bustling marketplace over 2 millennia ago. A stall to your left sells aromatic incense, while another boasts a figurine of Aphrodite, the goddess of love. A poet recites hymns to Apollo, and a priestess carries out a ritual to Demeter, hoping for a bountiful harvest. Welcome to the Mediterranean's ancient pagan world, a cocktail of myths, gods, and rituals that played out under the same sun that warms our faces today. Join us on this enchanting journey as we wade through time, retracing the footsteps of our pagan ancestors, revealing tidbits that might even leave Zeus himself wide-eyed and surprised. Paganism wasn't a single, unified religion. Instead, it was a colorful tapestry woven from the beliefs of ancient Egypt, Greece, Rome, and others. Different gods, different rituals, but one shared spirit. In the ancient Mediterranean world, you wouldn't find one overarching pagan Bible or central religious authority. Instead, the spiritual landscape was dotted with countless localized cults, deities, and rituals. From the mighty Zeus in Greece to the sun god Ra in Egypt, each region had its own pantheon. While some gods, like Hermes and Mercury, had equivalents across cultures, others were unique to their civilizations. Not only did different regions have their own gods, but they also had multiple versions of the same deity, each with localized attributes. For instance, Athena in Athens was a virgin goddess of wisdom, but in Sparta, she was a war deity. Imagine the same god having multiple personalities depending on where you were. Pharaohs in Egypt worshipped Ra, the sun god, while fishermen in Greece prayed to Poseidon for calm seas. The thing about ancient paganism? It was incredibly inclusive. Whether you were a noble or a commoner, there was a god or a ritual just for you. While pharaohs built grand temples and commissioned elaborate ceremonies, ordinary people had their own small shrines and amulets. In Greece, it was common for households to have a family altar for Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. This democratic nature of paganism made it relatable and accessible to all. Paganism was deeply integrated into daily life. In Greece, a farmer might leave a small portion of his grain in the field as an offering to Demeter. In Rome, before any major event, from battles to weddings, the augurs would interpret the will of the gods by observing bird patterns. It wasn't just tradition, it was a way of life. The iconic Parthenon in Athens? That was dedicated to Athena. And speaking of Athens, did you know they held an annual festival called Panathenaea where they offered the goddess a massive, beautifully woven robe? Now, that's what you call divine fashion. Beyond the Parthenon, there were many architectural marvels dedicated to the gods. The Temple of Artemis in Ephesus was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. These weren't just places of worship, but centers of social, economic, and cultural activities. Temples weren't just spiritual hubs. They were also economic centers. Donations to temples could include land, livestock, or gold. Over time, some temples became so wealthy that they loaned money, a bit like ancient banks. And talk about opulence, some temples, like that of Artemis in Ephesus, were adorned with gold and fine art. The Romans had Mars, the god of war, and Venus, the goddess of love. But wait! The Greeks had their own versions, Ares and Aphrodite. And while Egyptians revered Osiris in matters of the afterlife, the Greeks looked to Hades. The ancient Mediterranean world was like a divine buffet. Consider Aphrodite and Venus. While both were goddesses of love, their legends and worship practices varied. Aphrodite, with her origins possibly in the East, was more than a beauty deity in Greece. She was a symbol of procreation. Venus, for the Romans, eventually became a symbol of imperial power. As empires expanded, they absorbed gods from conquered people. The Romans, especially, were masters of this. When they met a new god they liked, they often equated it with one of their own or sometimes even adopted it wholesale. That's religious diplomacy in action. Ancient pagans loved a good party. Take Saturnalia, an ancient Roman festival, where roles were reversed, masters served slaves, and everyone indulged in feasts and gift-giving. It was like their version of April Fool's meets Christmas. Saturnalia was a wild week-long party, but there were many others. The Greeks had Dionysia, a festival for the god of wine and party, Dionysus. Theatrical performances, dances, and wine were integral to it. Then there was Lupercalia, a Roman spring cleansing ritual that might have laid the foundations for Valentine's Day. These weren't just annual events but punctuated every season. Imagine having monthly, if not weekly, holidays. From honoring the dead in the Lemuria festival to the raucous merrymaking during Bacchanalia, these celebrations kept the ancient calendar lively. Paganism wasn't just about worshipping, there was an air of enchantment. Oracle bones, amulets, and lucky charms were all the rage. Want to know your future? Perhaps a trip to the oracle at Delphi might reveal secrets even your best friend wouldn't know. The oracle at Delphi was but one of the mystical sites in the Mediterranean. People from all walks of life, including emperors, sought guidance from these mystical places. And magic wasn't just for prophecies. Amulets with inscriptions, often called curse tablets, were popular too. This was a world where the boundaries between the natural and supernatural were porous. If a loved one fell ill, you might suspect someone put a curse on them. To counteract, you'd get a counter curse or a protective amulet. And if you wanted to win someone's heart, a love potion might be just what Aphrodite ordered. For pagans, nature wasn't just about scenic views. Rivers, trees, and even rocks held spirits. The Nile wasn't just a river to Egyptians, its floods were tears of the goddess Isis. And if you think recycling is a new concept, think again. Pagans believed in the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Paganism had a holistic view of the environment. The Greeks believed in nymphs and spirits of trees, rivers, and mountains. The Nile's annual flooding, which fertilized the fields, was considered a gift from the gods and was central to Egyptian religious rituals. Their connection to nature wasn't just about reverence but also survival. The changing seasons, governed by Persephone's descent and ascent from the underworld, dictated agricultural cycles. Sacred groves dedicated to deities served as ancient conservation areas, protecting biodiversity. As Christianity spread, paganism faced an existential challenge. Temples were replaced by churches, and old gods faded into legend. But, interestingly, many pagan traditions survived, morphing into new Christian customs. Ever wondered why we have Christmas trees? Well, thank the pagans for their love of greenery. As the Roman Empire embraced Christianity, old temples were sometimes repurposed into churches. But paganism's impact didn't fade overnight. Many Christian saints had pagan counterparts, and festivals were rebranded with a Christian touch. It's easy to think of this transition as sudden, but it was a slow evolution. While Christianity adopted many pagan customs, it also faced fierce resistance. The tale of Hypatia, a pagan philosopher of Alexandria, who tragically martyred, is a poignant testament to this tumultuous time. Fast forward to the Renaissance, and there's a pagan revival. Artists and scholars, inspired by ancient tales, reimagine the gods. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel? Oh, you can bet Apollo and the muses were cheering him on from the heavens. During the Renaissance, as Europe looked back to its classical roots for inspiration, pagan motifs resurfaced in art, literature, and philosophy. Botticelli's The Birth of Venus and Leonardo's Vitruvian Man are tributes to the pagan past. Why the sudden interest in pagan legends during the Renaissance? Well, the rediscovery of ancient texts fueled this revival. When scholars translated works like Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, Europe was reintroduced to the vibrant world of gods and heroes, influencing everything from art to politics. So, the next time you take a stroll by the Mediterranean, feel the breeze, and let your mind wander back to a time when gods walked the earth, and myths weren't just stories but a way of life. From vibrant festivals to sacred rituals, from gods of war to goddesses of harvest, the ancient pagan world was a dazzling dance of divinity and humanity. It reminds us that before algorithms, there were amulets; before data, there were deities. In the heartbeats of ancient pagans, we find the echoes of our own eternal quest for meaning, magic, and a little bit of mischief. Paganism, with its rich tapestry of myths, rituals, and deities, offers a lens into the hopes, fears, and daily lives of ancient Mediterranean peoples. As the sun set on their world and Christianity rose, the legacy of paganism lived on, influencing art, culture, and even our modern festivals. So, why does ancient paganism matter today? Beyond the grand temples and epic myths, it reminds us of humanity's age-old quest to understand our place in the cosmos. It's a testament to our imagination, our desire to connect with forces bigger than ourselves, and the timeless power of storytelling.